Alright. I do have one bit that I was thinking of going for, but I don't know how well it's gonna go.
Yeah, how are bits gonna work when we're not in person?
Well, we don't do any visual bits for the most part.
We can't, you're right. Because we're an audio podcast.
What?
I've had
What,
some ideas
what
for...
universe have you been living in?
What?
to think that we would do a visual one, that we weren't
Well,
an audio
I've
podcast.
had ideas for visual gags, but I don't do them because we don't do visual.
We've done some visual gags, but then the joke is that we're an audio podcast, so no one can actually see that. Yeah.
It's just like the sound of your realization. You're like, we're an audio podcast. Like, what do you think we're doing?
There was a video with this the whole time?
I've been lied to. Then where's my webcam footage going to?
You may not want to know the answer to that.
Questions
no.
I love the image of like Aiden's just like doing all these stupid dumb bits in his webcam and it's going nowhere. Oh god. I think that's a bit in itself, honestly. Fuck whatever I was gonna do. Welcome. We are now loading the award-winning podcast. We are with you always, Drinksaholic, Freebiy, and WeightyClover.
What?
It's been a while.
You don't say. Like, I don't remember who you guys are.
How many times have we tried this?
4.
Really?
At least
I think this is actually our 4th attempt on this.
This is fourth
episode.
attempt, but I think at least 3 different attempts.
Jeez.
And it doesn't help that the world started to end mid-attempt.
Yeah. Yes, as we were recording it, the world was like, we're not doing this anymore, and so we all just left.
Yeah. So I think I imagine that you can notice from the audio anyway, by alone, that there's something different. Which we did attempt to do 3 mics before, but all of my audio for literally everything got nuked out of existence. So not only was that a failed attempt, but now we are sort of going to, that is now the default that we have to deal with. So all that aside, we are still trying to do this.
And just like we say every other episode, this is just one big experiment, so...
This is in fact one giant experiment.
It becomes tons of smaller experiments as we go, in terms of that all comes together into the big experiment, which is the existence of the podcast in general.
I can't wait till the big experiment gets big enough to where we can actually do visual gags, because I feel like I'll thrive on visual gags.
I'm sure at some point there will be like a video podcast episode at one point.
That should be like our episode 75 goal. Do a video
Why
podcast.
75?
Because 100's the mango moment.
Shut up, we can't talk about that.
Shit, cut it.
Thought about that.
I don't know. I would really... personally, I would like to do a video podcast because I thrive off of visual gags and I like watching them, so that's just me though.
Yeah. I'm more of an audio person because the main reason why like I don't watch video podcasts is because like you have to devote attention to the visuals, and more often than not I don't have the time to do that.
No, just get a second screen.
Yeah, but I don't have space for that.
Your desk is huge!
Yeah,
it actually
do you
is.
know how big of like the actual like computer area there is?
We'll make more.
Make more.
Just add more desk.
That's what I did. I started pulling up like a tray table that's next to me.
I mean, I did make 2 desks, so
Yeah, you wanted to use those.
Actually 3, if we're counting the one that was made like years ago. But I think that's I think we're fine to let the games begin then.
Game.
Possibly.
Right. Possibly. Who would
nice.
like to start? Actually, maybe I should start since I have the most.
I would like to end.
Okay.
I guess I should start since I have the most games.
You have more games than Grant?
I have 6.
Oh, I also have 6. Grant, you go first.
Well, I mean, I can start with what I've been playing more recently in Nier Automata. Or Automata.
Yes. Hey, yeah.
I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
Let's talk about that since I have also been playing Nier.
I have not.
Alright. It is pretty good. I enjoy it. How far in are you?
I believe at least 8.5 hours in.
Okay. So you haven't beat it once yet, though, have you?
No, not yet.
Okay. Because I have beat it. And it is the story is kind of hard to follow. It doesn't really explain what is going on at all.
Yeah.
It just kind of tells you you're androids. You need to fight the machines. They suck and they're evil, so you go and do that. And yeah, that's kind of the gist of it.
That's how it starts. Like, you're androids,
Yeah.
you need to go take back, like... Alright, so the plot of Nier is, at some point, like, 3,000 years in the future, aliens come and make machines and wipe out most of humanity. Humanity then escapes to the moon, and the world gets taken over by all these machines. And now you're playing as 2B, and also 9S as well. You're playing as androids that are going back on doing missions on Earth so that you can gradually retake the Earth. And then it turns out that things are not as they seem.
Yeah.
Of Nier, I knew that the main point of it was that it talks a lot about existing and what it means to be alive. And I didn't realize that those themes would actually happen super early in the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because it has a strong opening where you can actually start talking about those kind of things. So we're like one of the first things that happens is that you die.
Yeah, literally.
And then you come back
like right at the beginning of the game. I was so confused at that point. I'm like, did I just win?
Yeah. Because I remember seeing the image of 9S and 2B's arms like dying, and I was like, oh shit, I think I might be spoiling myself something for later in the game. Let's avoid that. And no, that's actually one of the first things that happen.
Yeah.
And then you come back and it's like, oh yeah, right, because you're androids.
The game itself is so weird because it's like 3 different genres mashed together. Because it's like, it's kind of like an adventure in the sense that you're exploring like all kinds of places in this city. It's also like a shoot 'em up bullet hell, and it's also like a platformer.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
It kind
like you go back and forth between all these so so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you have like a bullet hell section at the beginning, then you have like, it's like I feel like the best way to describe it is like if Monster Hunter was a character action game, but it had bullet hell elements as well.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best way to describe it.
I could think of it that way.
Mm-hmm. But that being said, I think it does most of that fairly well, though. Like, it doesn't
feel
like
it does.
That it's like any of the gameplay elements feel out of place.
There are times when you're fighting an an enemy that is just like shooting like a million shots at you at once, though. That's kind of overwhelming because, I mean, in like a 2D sense, you can just kind of like find your way around everything, but in that, like when it's in a 3D environment, you have to be jumping, going like every single direction. It just makes it so hard to dodge.
Even when it is 2D, it does like get more difficult. Like when it's like the first couple, like the first boss, and then like the first sort of action sequence is fine. But then once you get to the fucking the robo whale.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh, this isn't that bad. Oh god. Oh god.
Yeah.
The bullet hell elements get pretty intense, but then it's not too terrible though, because you realize that if you slash at the bullets, then you take them out.
Yeah, and you can shoot them with your little robot buddy thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess this might be spoiler-ish, but like, what has happened last in the game for you?
Last thing what happened was the...
Or, like, at least where?
Last boss fight was the, machine whale. And then, like,
okay.
9S is in recovery.
Okay. Nice.
Wait, in that case, if I can ask how far in the game I am, then...
Pretty.
Really?
Yeah, you're actually quite far in the game. You don't have a whole lot further to go.
Okay, because the story of Nier, like, it is kind of, like, sparse and whatnot, but it does feel like... It feels like things are going really fast, but not as in, like, it's just kind of brushing across things, but, like, it's building up to something way bigger.
Yeah.
Because, should we get in spoiler talk?
I'm not... I mean, I'm fine with it if we do.
Alright, I'll try and avoid it. But, like,
okay.
Because, like, a lot of the things that I notice is that the subject matter goes by pretty fucking quickly, where it's like, oh, like, the whole, like, machines aren't actually as bad as they are, like, as they're depicted. That happened, like, that topic comes up super early.
Yeah.
The idea of, like, being human, that actually comes up super early. Like, the fate of the aliens, that also comes up what feels like super early.
Yeah.
It could be that maybe I'm probably doing less quests and more story stuff, especially as of recent.
That could be the case too. When I was doing it, I did a lot of side missions and it took me a little bit to beat.
It could be that the quests themselves are like... The quests touch on these things, like, in their own ways. Like, the quests in Nier are really strange because they can range from... hey, thanks for helping me out and getting these supplies for me, I really appreciate it, here's a reward for that. And it also can range from the ending like that, or ending like, I now no longer have anyone to love, and I no longer have anyone to kill. What is the purpose of my life?
And it can also range from, I am a karate master, fight me so that I can prove my prove how good I am to you, and also we want to have a parade for love and fun. And you have to protect us. You have to protect us by fighting these machines to prove that we don't like fighting. So it gets weird.
Hey kid, I know you got to I know you gotta stop all these machines and save the planet so that humanity can go back to Earth, but hey, go find these stamps.
Yeah. that mission is so weird. Have you beat that mission?
Yeah, I did. It's because, like,
the performance at the end.
It was right there, and it was just like, hey, you want to find these stamps? I'm like, oh, well, this is in the area that you're requesting it, so might as well. And then I did, and it's like, all right, thanks.
The like play at the end of it is so good.
That play is so weird.
Romeo's and Juliet's.
Okay. So, when you complete that mission. I guess it's not completing, it's for the last stamp, I believe, where you go and watch a play between a Romeo and Juliet reimagining. And it starts with, like, Juliet...
Emphasis on reimagining.
Well, yeah. It starts with Juliet coming out, and then Romeo comes out. And then Juliet 2 comes out. And then Romeo 2 comes out.
What?
And then Juliet 3 comes out. And then Romeo 3 comes out. And then they all fight to the death and everyone fucking dies.
And that's it.
Wasn't there, like, one line, I don't think this is the exact line, but something along the lines of, like, I will wreck thy shit?
Something like that. I love pisseth off.
Yeah.
No, that sounds like my kind of show.
I think my favorite part about that play is that the receptionist is like, so that happened?
If you talk to all the robots, like, watching it in the area around it, they're like, wow, this had such deep meaning, it's like such complex themes, and like I got so emotional watching this. Then you can walk up to one of them, they're like, I have no idea what just happened.
Yeah, but I love the fact that, like, the receptionist of all people, like the person who was like helping run this, had no idea what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
And they all just died, and that's it.
So yeah, it's so crazy.
So Nier is like a game where as satisfying as the gameplay is, it plays with its themes in a way that are both like super deep but also comedic as hell.
Yeah.
So
now I have to ask, when you were in the amusement park, did you kill the tank?
I did.
Okay. Just so you know, you don't have to.
Yeah, I didn't think I had to, but 9S is like, hey, we're probably gonna regret it later. I'm like, oh, that might be a good idea to do with them.
There's nothing happens if you don't do it. So,
oh, okay.
So the first time I got there, I'm like, this tank is shooting balloons and confetti and just looks like a fun time. I'm gonna leave them be, and just left.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I love the fact that like I guess we can go into characters from them because. Sure. 9S, I really like, because 9S, I love that, like, he's, like, the hacker character, but he's also kind of, like, a goofball and kind of awkward. Especially around 2B. But then you find out that he's actually, like, super racist against robots.
Yeah.
When you get to meet Pascal and, like, the village of like, peaceful robots, like, how fucking much of a dick he is, like, way more than needs to be.
Yeah. But, dude, the village is awesome. The village is one of my favorite areas.
Yeah. And then, I guess, like, 9S is probably the most, like, interesting one. Then you have 2B, who's, like, the hard-ass, like, we do things that don't do anything that's unnecessary. The only thing that matters is we get the mission done.
There's a part on my second playing it again. Just so you know, the game has 26 endings.
Yeah. So I realized that. It's gonna be a while.
That's too many.
So, playing it again, there's a part where, like, in 9S, it said something along the lines of, like, I feel like, I don't remember what he was talking about, it was like, I feel like this way, and 2B's like, feelings are forbidden, and he's like, well, you just follow protocol, right? He's like, we just need to complete the mission. He's like, yeah, and 2B's like, one information is correct. He's like, what, are you kidding me? Fine, yeah.
I guess the only thing that bothers me with the characters is that, like, so one thing that's really significant about Nier's story is the idea of, like, humanity despite being androids. It kind of bothers me that sometimes the characters will switch between them. Like, at first it was, like, 9S is the one that's like, are these really, like, bad people? And then 2B's like, hey, our mission's to get this shit done and destroy them regardless. And then you have them, like, kind of flip-flopping between that. Like, then occasionally it'll be like, 2B's like, are we supposed to be doing this? And 9S is like, don't forget, this is our mission. It's like, fucking choose one of the characters to do this and the other to not do this, and then just go from there. It feels like they keep, like, character swapping between each other. Which would be fine if it wasn't for the fact that, like, if it's established as, like, this character is this and this character is that. And then you just kind of make them not that for a while.
Yeah.
That being said, the dynamic between 9S and 2B is great. I love, like, I can't remember what mission it is, but there's, like, a bit... It gets introduced that, well, 9S at some point says that his friends call him Nines, and then 2B's like, I'm not going to call you that because 9S is fine enough. And then there's a bit where 2B's like, let's go 9s.
Yeah. And then she denies that she said that.
He's like, wait, what did you just say?
He's like, I just said 9S. She was like, no, you said 9. He's like, nope. Let's keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. It's at the point that I'm in the story is like where it's really like leaning heavily into like these two super care about each other, especially specifically 2B to 9S, because 9S was just kind of like that awkward kid that was like, hey, I want friends, and he teams up with 2B. And 2B is just like, yeah, sure, whatever. But now it's like, oh shit, she actually cares about him a lot.
I just feel like that kind of happened really quick. Like,
I guess. Like,
I mean, it's kind of a short game. At least the first time through, because in case you don't know, you don't get the full experience unless you play the game 3 times.
Okay, I figured, because I know there's a bunch of endings, so I knew I was going to do more. And I know, like, next time when I do finish this the first playthrough I'm doing right now, I was going to go back so that I can do more side quests.
Yeah, there's 26 endings. 21 of them are joke endings. 5 of them are real endings. And But like one of the endings, if you look through the chips that you have equipped, there's the OS chip, and it says if you remove it, if you remove it, you will die. That's ending T.
Okay, because I remember seeing that when I was like figuring out that system, and then seeing that I'm like, I'm so tempted to just save right now and just take that shit out.
Yeah, if you take it out, you get ending T.
All right, well I know what I'm doing when I get back into the game.
Yeah, but the game doesn't really get super juicy until apparently ending like Route C. That's what I heard.
Okay.
But like, if you want to get like the absolute full experience of the game, you want to play through Route E.
Okay, gotcha.
That's just what I've heard. I cannot like prove or deny that that is the case. That's just from what I've heard.
Wait, so are you on your second playthrough then?
I'm currently on Route B.
Okay, gotcha. Alright. So yeah, very good game. I'm liking it a lot.
Yes.
Guess moving on.
That was mainly me. You should spot like Aiden. You go next.
Yeah, Aiden, you're up because we did all that.
Okay, that's fair. I'm a month late to this one, but Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered released on Xbox and PC, 7 days ago at this point, I would say? I think it was the first it came out.
Surprisingly recently.
Yeah. Oh my god, they made an amazing game, and they made it look even better.
You say 7 days ago. It was about a month ago.
I'm not there yet. Calm your tits. I'm getting to that. Screw it, I'm just gonna jump to that now. It came out a month ago exclusively on PlayStation.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
It came out for PC and Xbox 7 days ago.
Which is very strange to me.
It just adds to my list of reasons why I'm not the biggest fan of Activision.
Yeah.
Because I don't understand why Activision has such a big Call of Duty deal with PlayStation.
Well, to be fair, they also did have one with like Xbox around the time of like Black Ops and that kind of stuff. They would release all the expansions first on Xbox. But yeah,
that was a
they've
thing.
they've kind of flip flopped for some reason.
They should just not do that.
Yeah,
and
just put it across everything.
Yeah, especially when like stuff like because that happened with the new Modern Warfare 2. PlayStation had I think it has like a whole year-long exclusivity on Spec Ops.
Yes.
And it hasn't been a year yet, has it?
No, it's only been like 3 months. No, it's been more than 3 months. It's been like 6 months.
Yeah, something like that. But there's that going on, and that game, it's cross-platform progression, so it doesn't matter where you're playing. So it shouldn't matter what console you're playing or what system you're playing on to get all the content. It's in there. Everyone can have it. Give it to me.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we should try the co-op sometime.
Co-op's fun. I played it with Tyler a lot when Modern Warfare first came out. It's fun.
Wait, so is Modern Warfare Remastered? Is it basically just Modern Warfare but it looks better? Or what else? I know you told me about one interesting detail that they added, but is there anything else outside of that?
Well, more so with Modern Warfare 2 Remastered over Modern Warfare 1 Remastered is that Modern Warfare 2, they added like new animations that weren't in the original game. And they had some of like the secondary background characters like recasted, I've noticed. And the only reason I noticed this because it's very obvious when Troy Baker's talking. So like the animations, they're nothing that like game changing or anything or like whatnot, but spoiler for like a 10-year-old game, when Shepard betrays you and leaves you to die, Roach obviously doesn't die right away. When Shepard bends over to like pick up like the thing that you and that Roach and Ghost went to go collect, Roach grabs Shepard's arm or whatever. That didn't happen in the original game.
Oh.
There are a few missions where, and I unfortunately missed all this. I didn't even know these were a thing until like last night, and I think I already missed all the opportunities. But there are like a special like assassination animations for like certain enemies and like certain missions where like oh, like, you haven't gone loud yet, and there's this guy leaning over, like leaning on the ledge or something or whatever, like, just chilling, looking, not doing anything, and, like, you slit their throat and just shove them off. Stuff like that.
Oh, cool. Nothing discreet about that.
Wait, so then it sounds like all the new animations are just, like, enhancements of what is already there, then.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Which is what I feel like that should be the standard for remasters now, because it took the great game and made it even better with animations that didn't need to be added, but they took the time to make anyways.
Okay.
But then on top of that, like with Modern Warfare 1 Remastered, they continued the Modern Warfare 3 Easter eggs with the mission No Russian. If you go back to like the beginning, you can see Yuri from Modern Warfare 3 basically kind of like dying on the floor.
Quick question, could you shoot Yuri and get an achievement for fucking up the timeline?
No, but you can do that with Shepard.
What?
In the mission, the first mission, The Pit, like, you know, like the training mission, where they have you run the obstacle course, Shepard's watching, and you can shoot Shepard and you get that achievement.
Oh. Okay.
I know that, like, what was it, Modern Warfare 3, you could, like, shoot Makarov when he's in a car and you get the achievement.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
The time paradox.
Yeah. Good fun. Let's see, what else is there? No multiplayer, but that's kind of understandable. The multiplayer for Modern Warfare Remastered wasn't that great.
Yeah, it wasn't.
That and they didn't really seem to care for it all that much, and to be fair, that's fine. It wasn't like the main Call of Duty at the time. It was just like a side thing that came with the main game. Thankfully, Modern Warfare 2 Remastered was not tied to another game.
Yeah.
Because Modern Warfare Remastered was tied to, I think, Infinite Warfare for like the first year or something. Then it was like you could buy it separately, which is what I did.
I remember specifically not wanting to buy it when it initially came out because I was like, I don't want to buy this fucking other game that I don't care about.
Because I think you had to get like the special edition to get it too.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like the standard edition. You had to get like the special edition.
And we all know no one liked Infinite Warfare.
I didn't actually play Infinite Warfare, so I don't know.
Neither did I, but I know everyone hated it.
I think like.
Well, I mean, to be fair, everyone hates Call of Duty after Ghosts.
Yeah.
I think like Infinite Warfare and Advanced Warfare, those games are just like they're kind of super forgettable. But then again, I also didn't play either. I mean, I know more about Infinite Warfare because I heard that like there are some interesting things there.
Advanced Warfare, I mean,
Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare. That's what I meant to say. But there's only like one bit at the beginning where like I think like you lose an arm or something.
Is that Infinite or is that Advanced? What am I thinking of?
I'm thinking Advanced.
Maybe I'm thinking of Infinite then. Infinite I have a problem with.
I liked Black Ops 3.
Never played it.
Black Ops 3 is alright. That being said, I did not play the campaign at Black Ops 3 because it had absolutely nothing to do with 1 or 2.
Yeah, that made no sense to me.
It's literally it's Black Ops 3 by name. It's Black Ops by name, and the only reason, the only thing that connects is that they mention Menendez once.
And like Nova 6, but other than that, and zombies, it's like not connected at all.
I had more fun doing dumb shit with friends and making fun of the game than I did actually playing the game.
Yeah, I spent $100 on Black Ops 3 just to get every single zombies map in the game.
Was it worth it?
Yes, because it has some good zombies maps.
I got Black Ops 3 on sale, and even then, I was like, I don't know if I really care if I don't get it.
The multiplayer was alright. The zombies is where it's at, though.
Yeah.
But
anyways.
Modern Warfare 2, it's good. I haven't finished it yet, because I'm playing on the hardest difficulty, and I'm a little bitch. Hopefully Modern Warfare 3 Remastered comes soon. Sooner rather than later.
I would absolutely love that.
But yeah, that's Modern Warfare.
Nice.
It's good.
It is good.
It's great.
Was good. Still good.
Will always be good. You
Always
can't
good.
ruin that. Well, I guess you can, but...
Well, it's Activision we're talking about. I'm surprised they didn't.
Yeah. You can, but then like the fans will be like, hey, we do have the actual... They'll be like, that one doesn't exist anymore.
You say Activision could have ruined it. I'm surprised they didn't. And I feel like they made it better with those extra animations and the Yuri Easter egg and stuff, which is interesting considering Activision.
Yeah.
Because Activision ruins everything. They ruin hopes, they ruin dreams, they ruin Blizzard.
They ruin lives.
They ruined my life by putting Call of Duty on the Battle.net launcher when that's not where it's supposed to be.
Just remember, if you ever have any problems in your life, just blame Activision.
That's what I do.
I think that's what we all do.
Grant, do you want to go next, or do you want me to go next? Actually, I guess I should go next since you brought up Nier. I'll talk about... So it's not too crazy, and I'm pretty much done with it, but I'll talk about Hyper Light Drifter. So, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I've had like a huge backlog of games that have just need to be finished, or that I've either bought and just haven't played, or that I played a little bit of and never finished. Hyper Light Drifter was one of the first games that was like that, and I finally finished it, and fucking love the game. So, aesthetically speaking, I don't know what you would call it, but you know, like that style of like that aesthetic with just like future tech with traditional clothing.
Yes.
Where it's like they've got like capes and robe. They've got like capes and robes that you'd see in like old times, but then you got like a laser sword and gun.
Yes.
Star Wars.
What?
Star Wars. This.
Kind of. Like if you, it kind of does, but it kind of doesn't.
Think Star Wars, but like if it was just Jedis and blasters.
I was thinking Dishonored.
No,
yeah, Dishonored actually fits that perfectly.
Do they got laser swords in Dishonored?
Not really Dishonored, but they're like very high tech, but it also has like a pretty old looking. Like,
yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Well, yeah, I'm starting that Hyper Light Drifter leans into that, and that's one of its strong suits. But before that's really not much I want to say about that. I guess I can go ahead and talk about the plot of what little is said. So, Hyper Light Drifter, the plot of the game is super like left up to interpretation, but it's got like a few like consistent motifs, like like if you go to like a significant, there's like an intro bit that it has where it kind of shows that like you're this dude with a laser sword and you're being guided by this black dog that has like a halo around it. Like
I just looked up some stuff about it, and I would actually probably compare it more to like Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, I totally forgot that Horizon Zero Dawn exists.
That's what it's reminding me of.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, so the game, the plot's super left up to interpretation. It has an intro bit that it shows a lot of history stuff related to the world, but doesn't actually say anything. Like, you'll see like these giant titans that you're facing against. You'll see like the world like falling under a calamity and stuff like that. But for the goal of the game essentially is that you need to go to 4 different regions and you need to reactivate these like giant monoliths. And each location has a boss that you have to fight before you actually reach those areas. And then after unlocking all 4, you'll go to the central city that you start in and go into like this underground region where the final boss is. And there are like a few consistent motifs that happen, like if you go to an area that has like narrative significance, your guy will start coughing up blood. There's a black dog that appears multiple times when you're near, if I'm remembering right, it's when you're near one of the monoliths. And then you also, there's also these modules that you need to find so that you can, take them out of the ground so that you can reach certain areas. But if you do activate 4 within an area, then you'll have like a hallucination of like your character dying, followed by like reimagination, like not reimaginations, but moments where you're reliving the situation, like the world like falling into chaos and stuff like that. And in those you actually see like the final boss that you'll inevitably find. Story aside, the world is super interesting. Where it's like when I talked about Hollow Knight way back when, where I talked about like how each region is completely unique and that it feels like there's like a very specific history that's tied to each one. And for the most part, you can't really find much of it in the game. You do have to kind of go out of your way to find these kind of things, but there is a lot of stuff there. Like, you have the north region, which is like a snowy mountain. You have the west region, which is like an area that's like covered in all these giant like crystals that even when you destroy them, they'll grow back. You have the East region, which is like a watery, like temple-like region that has like a bunch of like toad frog enemies. And then you have the South, which is mostly like an underground area where you actually find parts of the Titans that you see in the intro bit, like being reconstructed. Like you'll find like the Titan's eye and like a giant like glass tube. You'll find like an arm somewhere, stuff like that. And then with these regions being different, the bosses themselves are also extremely various. Like the names of the bosses, except for the final boss, are not actually said or shown anywhere, but they do have like some names that are given by the community. Like North is the Hierophant, which is like sort of like a priestess dude, like a bird priestess dude. You have like the West, which is called the Hangman, who is like a general sort of, where he sort of has the same. He's basically like a drifter like you, where he has like his own sword and he has like a blaster. You have the Toad King, who's just a giant toad that throws shit at you on the East. But then you also have my favorites, which they each have their own names, but I call them the Sentients as a collective because that's the name of the track that they that plays when you fight them, which is a fucking phenomenal track that I love. You have a guy with a scythe, you have an archer, you've got a sort of like technical sorcerer dude, and then you have like a robot that summons like a bunch of tiny robots that you fight. Those bosses are easily the most unique because rather than being like a single boss that you have to fight and then you get to the monolith that you need to reactivate, you can actually, if you take the right route, then you can avoid most of these guys. Where I think like I either activated the monolith like before I finished fighting all the bosses, or I was able to I just like change directions and say, you know what, I want to explore more of this so that I can see if there's anything else, because the South region is like super complex, and there's also the fact that you can find a bunch of like hidden things to upgrade your weapons, so I tried to find as much as I could. Aside from the bosses that are specific to each region, once you do get to the once you activate all 4 monoliths and you go to the central area, you go descend into this area where there's just this giant, I don't know if I want to say wall, but this giant structure that once you activate it, it releases like this weird like corrupted like black monster thing called called Judgment, who's basically, he's the one that you see when you do have like hallucinations of your character's death, and then he does have like his own narrative significance that, even though there's really little story, I don't know if I want to say like what happens after you beat him, because it implies, because once you complete the game, it does imply a lot of what's happening and hint to a lot of the things that are central to like what the motifs that you see, like why your character's coughing blood, why this black dog keeps appearing all over the place, you know, stuff like that. I also want to say,
yeah, you're saying the bosses, those are, I assume, named after tarot cards.
I think so.
Because you're here.
Oh yeah, they are.
Hierophant, Hanged Man, and Judgment.
Hierophant, Hanged Man, and
not
Judgment.
Toadman, but
yeah,
Toadman.
True, but
that word.
The Sentients, as they like to call them, they all have like their own names that don't sound like tarot cards. Like you have the Reaper, the Archer, the Sorcerer, and the Summoner. I don't know. I think like they use the tarot cards like it's inspired by them at the very least. At least the Hangman, Hierophant, and whatnot.
Literally the only reason I know tarot cards is because of Persona.
I was thinking JoJo, but alright. But yeah, the game's fucking great. It looks beautiful. It's very stylized with like pixel art, and then like Disaster Piece doing the soundtrack where it's like a lot of 8-bit sounds, but there's still a lot to make each region feel unique and feel atmospheric, and then each boss fight has their own like theme that sounds more like most appropriate to each of them. The combat for the game is pretty straightforward, where it's just like you have a 3-hit sword move, then you also have guns, and you can find different guns after you unlock a monolith, and then you can buy upgrades using these gear bits that you can find all over the place, which For the most part, I think all are hidden, but as long as you got your gamer brain on, where you're just like, hey, is this the right way? All right, I'm gonna go the complete opposite way and trying to find cool stuff.
That's exactly what I do.
Yeah, as long as you are easy, as long as you spend the time to explore, then you'll find plenty of stuff to upgrade. And I wasn't able to find enough to get like all the upgrades, but I did find enough to make combat super fun. Because with those upgrades, you can buy like different moves based on your sword. Like you can be able to reflect projectiles. You can have like a charge swing. You can also have ones like abilities where like you have like a dash ability. You can unlock an ability where when you dash really close to a projectile, like just before it hits you, then you can like move without taking any damage, stuff like that. And I think that's really all I want to say about Hyperlight Drifter. It's super aesthetically interesting. Pretty straightforward, but fun combat. And absolutely phenomenal world building. I'm glad that I spent the time to actually finish this game.
Nice, and now you can keep going with your massive backlog.
Yeah.
What's next on your list?
I actually think I only have one game in the backlog.
Seriously?
But yeah, but
how on earth did you go through it that fast?
Because for the most part, I found out that the games I needed to finish weren't as long. Hyperlight Drifter was one of the longer games, but I think it was like 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours to finish. And I did try. This was like sort of like the beginning, like around the beginning of quarantine, where I did have like a bunch of time to do things. So I just kind of said, all right, I'll just spend a bunch of time on this game, and then, because I think what I did when I played the game was it was for the most part finish a region and then stop there. So that means like about like about 7 sessions if you include like times where I stopped like before I actually finished the place. Yeah, it's structured in a way that makes it super friendly to like just kind of turning it off for a while and then coming back to it.
Yeah.
Very good game.
All right.
Nice.
Sounds cool.
Game.
Alright, Grant, yeah, you go.
Alright. Up next is a game that I waited quite a long time for, and almost didn't get exactly when I wanted to. With my pre-order, luckily I did. I'm talking about Persona 5 Royal, because I'm very lucky that I did not get it delayed, unlike some other person in this conversation.
It was only a day, it wasn't that bad. But still! No heads up, no warning. It's just showed up a day late.
But Royal it's good game. It is. It is pretty much exactly. It's pretty much if you took base Persona 5, copied it over to another game, made some small things to improve it, and then added another like 20 hours onto the end.
Yeah.
That's literally exactly what it is.
It's so much more game.
It is.
But it's so much more good game.
It is good game. Hey, you aren't even at the good game part yet. Actually, yes, you are, because you are in game.
Yeah, I don't have to get there to know it's good. It's not Akumura's Palace, so it's good.
I've heard that it's basically like the more definitive version of experiencing Persona 5.
Yeah, it is. It's like the equivalent of I guess none of you would get it, but Persona 4 Golden. Because it's pretty much exactly the same game, but it improves a lot of like quality of life things, and also adds like more elements and that stuff. Except it is a more improved version than Golden is to 4, because it actually adds a decent amount of story stuff and game stuff. But yeah, everything up until like through the base game is pretty much exactly the same, with some new plot stuff sprinkled in, like there are 2 new confidants. And there's not a whole lot I can say without outright spoiling the game. But
I have a question for you that's
yes.
not super spoilery. Or well, would it be? I'm not
just ask it. Just ask it.
How fine do you think Dr. Marukuri is? On a scale of 1 to 10. Like, would you tap that or not?
I'm just gonna put it at a 5 right in the middle.
You know, that's fair. I'd give him a solid 8, 8.5.
Okay. I might jump towards 6.
Because, man, that man is... Ooh!
How on earth would that be in spoiler territory?
I don't know.
I think the closest you can get to tapping things that are new would be like 2 characters, and one of them is just a new voice actor.
Well,
no. Let me ask, how do you feel about Takemi's new voice?
I'm fine with it. I think it's fine. I mean, it's not like you hear her talking that much anyway, because almost all of like her talking is either like the little small like audio clips I'll play when you're talking to someone. Most of the conversations you have, you just read the text, or it's either you hear her talking when you first meet her, or max out her confidant. But that's really it.
Okay.
So, and it's the same way for all the confidants that aren't like major story characters. So, but yeah, I'm fine with that. I think it sounds all right. It kind of makes her character kind of seem different at the beginning. I don't even know how to describe it.
She sounds like younger and less like strict about things.
Yeah, that's the way I would describe it. Like she seems more like just changing the voice actor makes her seem like more laid back.
Yeah, that's the thing that I want to say that I like her more, like her voice actor more, but then like, it sounds like you're getting a different version of this character that I'm not sure if is bad.
No, it's totally fine. I actually probably prefer it. Like, yeah, just pretty much changing the voice actor kind of made the character feel different, and I liked it.
Yeah, it still seems fine. It's still fine. It's still quality goth GF material right there.
Yeah, and shout out to Sony for responding to my email for not getting my themes for beating 2 palaces early in the game, and then emailing me my themes for beating those 2 like 2 weeks after I emailed them.
Nice.
Even though I should have had them like a month ago. But whatever.
Oh boy.
I have yet to do that. I should probably do that at some point.
Yeah, you should. Yeah. But it's really cool because it adds a bunch of like gameplay. It adds a few gameplay mechanics to make it so it's not just a grind the whole time. Because that was one of my main problems with playing it through the first time, and same thing with playing 3 and 4, is that the combat gets really repetitive, but it adds stuff like disaster shadows, which if you kill that one, cool. If you kill them, they explode, and they'll drop an item and like do a bunch of damage to all the other enemies. And then there's also like fusion alerts in the Velvet Room, so that if you want to, or fusion alarms, I don't remember, I think that's what they're called. So like it encourages you to go and like fuse stuff. It'll give you better abilities from fusions. There's challenge battles, which I bought the challenge battle pass for it, or expansion, whatever it's called. Not worth it, but but you get to fight the protagonist from Persona 3 and 4, which I mean is kind of cool, but it's not worth $10. It's kind of yeah.
All I've heard from combat is that it's better, and also that guns are actually like usable.
Yes,
I heard that guns weren't great.
Guns don't run out of ammo after every fight.
Yeah, like, so now it's instead of just being a tool to down an enemy weak to gun, now you can actually use them in combat, and it actually saves your SP a lot because now you can just like unload your gun into all the enemies, and it'll do way more damage than just having to like use all your magic and stuff. But yeah, that's awesome. And also, you don't have to level up your confidant to get the baton pass, which is insanely helpful. So once you get to the end of the game, you don't have much time to hang out with your last party member. Now you can actually baton pass with them without having to worry about that. Because it used to be, I think, like the confidant level 2, you get the baton pass. So if you weren't level 2 with them, you couldn't pass it to them.
Yeah. On that note, if I can ask one thing.
Ask away.
So, one of the main things of Persona 5 Royal is that there's a completely new character that joins the Thieves, right?
Yes.
How does she stack up against the rest?
I think that she is actually, trying to avoid spoilers here, once it actually gets into the thick of it, in the later stuff, she is probably my favorite. Seriously, like,
interesting.
Once it actually gets into like the thick of like the new plot.
Like thick of like favorite like combat character or best girl.
Character probably.
Okay, because I've seen all over Twitter that she has become new best girl.
I don't know about new best girl for me, but
all I see is just pictures of her with her hair down and glasses.
But yeah,
when I do inevitably get Royal and play that after I get through other games, new games that I want to play like Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing. Once I get more into that, I know that my biggest choice is do I choose on or do I go for God GF? I need to know if the new character is going to make things even harder.
One thing though is that not actually. I don't know if I should say that. That's not super spoilery, but I still don't want to say because it might somewhat spoil something. So I just won't say it. Never mind.
Okay. But Persona 5, pretty good. Or
yes.
5 Royal, pretty good.
Yes, definitely is big good.
Yeah, it's a big game, especially.
Yes, it is.
Very.
Anyway, that is my game.
Nice.
Out of many. I actually added 2 more to the list as you were talking about the other game. Keith doesn't know I have 8.
Well, we are not going to hit them.
No, we are not.
I think we should actually hit our last 2 and then move on because we've been going for about an hour now.
Okay. I do have 2 games that I can go for really quickly after you say whatever you're going to do.
Oh, I was going to say like we're going to talk like the group games.
Oh, okay. I do have 2 that I can go through really quick though, just to get them out of the way.
Alright.
I finished Gris and Hollow Knight. Well, I didn't quite finish Hollow Knight because there is one more area. Because I got through it, I finished it once, as in I got like the first ending that you can get, and I'm going towards, I'm going to a new region called the White Palace, that you can get an item so that you can get, I believe, 3 more endings if I'm right. Pretty much, I've talked about Hollow Knight on the podcast before, and same things, like exploration's fun, platforming's fun, you know, world's interesting, stuff like that. Once you get to, like, once you beat the final boss, which is the reason, which I think I said before that your character is called the Hollow Knight, which I was absolutely wrong. No, the final boss's name is Hollow Knight. But,
plot twist.
Yeah, no, that was just, my own being dumb. His boss, I guess, like, as far as like gameplay stuff, I can only talk about his fight, which is that it is so fucking good. It's like, it is basically just Hollow Knight's what's his fucking name, Lord of Cinder, where it's like, sure it's a really cool and strong, like, powerful boss fight, but it's also like narratively significant.
Yeah.
And what I love about without spoiling too much, actually, I don't know how deep I want to say, but basically what I want to say, I won't say anything that can be considered spoilers, but basically, like, the more you fight, like, once you get to, like, different phases of the Hollow Knight's boss fight, you realize something that you're like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. It's definitely like a Dark Souls, like, tragic fight.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
That being said, so there's another region that is like that I completely missed that I went to that really leans into like the actual narrative of like why your character, the knight, is there, called the Abyss. Which the second you go there, you're like, oh fuck. Let me just say,
it's like in Dark Souls.
That's a lot of corpses. Let me just say that.
Oh, Dark Souls, there's not corpses in the Abyss, it's just darkness.
Yeah, well, think darkness, but then you get to the bottom of it and you realize that the entire floor is just dead bodies.
The bottom of the darkness.
Yeah, but you do go there so that you can basically get the remainder of your upgraded abilities. Like, there are some abilities that you have that you can find like versions where that are just more powerful and more effective. You get the rest of them there, and then you kind of learn more about like the Hollow Knight himself. And there's something in Hollow Knight called the Dream Nail that you can acquire, and once you basically like completely max that out, then you can enter a region called the White Palace, which, Jesus fucking Christ. That my body has never been hurt by a video game, or at least by Hollow Knight, more so than going there.
It reminds me of Arc Dragon Peak in Dark Souls 3.
Yeah, so like Hollow Knight's it's a side scroller game, and it has some platforming. Well, like, but Hollow Knight's platforming, like before this, is mostly just like pretty simple stuff, and just like, oh, now you have this ability, so now you can access this place, and it's just like light platforming from there. And then there are some regions where you have to do some pretty intensive platforming just so you can get something new and interesting, like a charm or maybe a new ability or just like some lore stuff. The White Palace is like, take those like sparse but pretty intense moments of platforming, crank that shit up by 3, and make that the entire place.
Ooh, I would hate that.
Holy shit, is it difficult as hell. You basically, you're doing all this platforming where you have like these sort of like buzzsaws that are on these rails or just in place, and you have to traverse around them. And in Hollow Knight, when you take damage from like an environmentals thing, for the most part, it's just like when you get hit by an enemy, you just lose a heart and then you're fine. But there are some places that if you were to fall into it, like maybe like a spike pit or something, you'll like die there, then you'll respawn back to like where you fell, or for the most part where you fell, and then you just lost a life. The White Palace is basically every single time you get every time you take damage from something, then you will die and then get teleported back.
Jeez.
And put that with really intensive platforming, and you get a painful experience.
You get Super Meat Boy.
I think I'd rather die.
It's kind of
It sounds like my sort of self-torture.
Yeah. So that's the last thing I'm doing. So just so I can like experience like another ending, like one that's better than the first one that you get. That's really all I gotta say about it. Holy shit, does it hurt? But I'm still continuing with that. But the other game was Gris, which was a game that I finished. I decided, since it's a game that I talked about before on the podcast as well, where I was just talking about like how I really loved its art direction and how interesting it was, where it's like a side-scroller platformer game that is like super calm and stuff like that, with the narrative being really sparse and up to interpretation. So most of that is still the same, but I kind of appreciate the art direction more now that I'm like at a point in my life where art is actually is straight up one of the most important things, given that, you know, it's my career choice and stuff like that. I just remember finishing this game and feeling super inspired, because it does a lot of things with its art direction that you hardly ever see in video games, and then it seems like one of those things where it's super simple. Like, the idea is like stupidly simple, but you're like, how the fuck have I not thought of this? Like, some of the first things you'll see are like trees where like the leaves are just squares, and the trees and like the roots and like
so Minecraft.
Yeah, like the roots and the branches. Well, not like Minecraft, because Minecraft is all squares, right? But like, at least it's the squares are coming together to create a shape that feels more natural. This one is just straight up just like a green square, just like as the entire section of the leaves, and that's it. And then you have like the branches kind of like all swooping upwards, like what are they called? The Hanukkah candle things. What are they called?
Menorah,
yeah. We have like the branches like that, and it does all of these like kind of small things with its art direction too, like those like simple like design choices. Then there's also like the fact that the background is basically just like a watercolored background, and like that exemplified by the super soft atmosphere of the music, which, god, that soundtrack is absolutely amazing. And if you ever need like a moment of serenity, just look up the Gris soundtrack and you're good. The game basically feels like you're playing through an art book that has like and like once you actually do beat the game for the first time, well, I believe there is like maybe one more ending that you just need to find like all the collectibles that you can. Like, there's these things called mementos that you can find after if you explore a little bit. I thought I got all of them, but apparently I didn't, so I'll probably go back and do that since I don't think I have much else. But with that, regardless of that, once you do complete the game, you do unlock an extra menu, which has a gallery, which shows like sketches and sketches of the game itself, like coming up with regions and coming up with like your character's design. Then you also have like unused music pieces, which that's the thing. That is like the main reason why I haven't uninstalled the game yet. Because normally, when you complete a game and there's not much else that you can do afterwards, it's sort of just like, alright, I'll call it a day, and then maybe one day I'll reinstall it and play it again. But this one, I'm like, I'm going to keep this installed so I can look back at those fucking sketches, because holy shit. This is totally like a game for people that are artists or people that are into design, and I'm both of those. So, this is definitely one of those games, like, it's kind of like, shit, what game did I say before that I said it was like, it seems like this game was made for me? I don't remember what it was, but I'm trying to remember. It was
I know you said that about shows.
Oh yeah, that was a show. Yeah, Isoken, that was the one I said like it feels like an anime for me. Think of that, but the game version. That's basically what Gris is. So yeah, if you're an artist or a designer, or if you're me and you're both, or you're someone who's just into that kind of stuff, or any sort of like interesting, anything with interesting, beautiful visuals, then Gris is the game.
Neat.
That's my spiel. Let's talk about Animal Crossing now.
Yeah!
I think Grant has the most to talk about since he's the one who's the furthest in.
Yep.
Yeah. That being said, I haven't played it in a few days. Mainly because I've been distracted by playing both Modern Warfare and Nier. But, yeah, it is definitely pretty good.
It is exactly the perfect game right now.
Yeah, like, just something where you can check up on it. It's not really a game that has any sort of ending. You just keep going. Well, technically there is an ending, which I got, like, a week ago, because that's when Kick Slider comes to your island. Spoilers. But yeah, it's pretty calming and like kind of mind numbing for what all is going on, because you just kind of take care of the people in your town and just make it look nice and all that kind of stuff. Now I do also have 2 people on the island, being my brothers, and one of my brothers being mainly his girlfriend's character, which I'm not sure how I feel about. But luckily I'm in charge of all the big stuff on the island, so no one can mess with that. Because I have all the options. But yeah, it's just nice to just have stuff to like kind of do in it, and even just doing simple things like starting a project for a bridge and then fully funding that. Like, it's such a big accomplishment. It's just, to me, a big accomplishment. Because I built a stone bridge the other day. I was like 200,000 bells worth the fund, and I did it, and the bridge is done. And just expanding the house, and for the first time, like in Animal Crossing, I really like enjoyed making my house look nice, even though it doesn't look like perfect. It's not just me cramming all my stuff in it.
That's what I do.
Because when I played Animal Crossing on the Wii, I just had all kinds of like weird junk that I just tossed in my house because I could. And it was just an absolute mess.
It definitely feels like... Oh yeah, go ahead.
Does the room still exist?
Why wouldn't it?
Good.
Not like I can remove it. What?
Will it be expanded upon?
I don't know if I can expand rooms. I'll add more lights though.
To clarify, Gran has a room that's just fucking Godzilla.
It's a giant Godzilla just in a room and has a spotlight on him, but I only have one spotlight, so that's the only lighting in the room. But it breathes fire inside of my house.
How much would it cost for you to get me one?
Real question is, how the fuck did you even get that?
You can order it from the little Tom Nook thing in the residential center. From like the Nook machine thing. I think it's like 5,000 bells.
That's not bad.
No, actually, wait, I think it was more expensive than that. I'm not sure. It wasn't the most expensive thing in the world, though.
You have to say 5,000 bells for Godzilla. Hell yeah.
Actually, no, I think it was 5. I actually think it was 5,000 Nook points.
Okay.
Or miles.
That actually is like a hefty amount. That's fine.
Yeah. But for Godzilla that breathes fire, worth it.
Yeah. I think I also bought a DIY recipe one time for a giant robot, so I'm saving so I'm saving Godzilla for when I can build the giant robot and have a duel between them.
You thought Godzilla was enough, but no, now you need Mecha Godzilla.
but the thing is, you have to make the robot, and that involves a lot of gold and a lot of rusted chips. Like of the rusted like little, I don't even know, data chips that you find like if you're looking for Gulliver. But yeah.
Oh yeah, those things.
Yeah. How far are you in like actually designing your town? Because I think you're actually like you started that at least.
Yeah, for the most part. I'm not going too far in terms of like terraforming, but I can make paths now. So I built some. I have made a path to every single building in my town. I haven't added any since my new bridge got built, so I should go in and do that. But yeah, so
does the bridge lead to that part of the island where you couldn't physically get to?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, so now my villagers on that part of the island aren't stranded anymore. They are not cut off from the rest of society.
I still want to know how they got there in the first place.
I don't know. The airport is not on that part of the island. There are no stores on that part of the island. There is no bridge going to that. There was no bridge going to that part of the island, but now that's all been fixed.
It was like its own separate community, but not as good.
There were 4 people living on that part of the island, along with the campsite where visitors would go.
Oh man.
And that was it.
Yeah, because I've started making like more developments. Like Nook's Cranny is now a thing. The museum is in progress, and I've just cleared all the weeds of the main island, where like the where all the important stuff is, like my house, Nook's, the residence service, stuff like that.
Yeah, you had a lot of weeds when we went there.
Yeah, all of them are clear on the main body. The other sections that I can get to, not quite. But then again, I also did just get the DIY recipe for a bridge.
Nice.
So more expansion. I also met Gulliver.
Nice.
Gulliver.
Get used to meeting him. You'll see him a lot.
All right.
Get used to meeting him.
So, yeah,
you'll have to do the exact same thing every single time. He falls off his boat, washes up on your beach. You have to find 5 little things so you can fix his communicator, and then he'll call his people back, and then chances are the next day you'll see him back on the beach.
Yeah. I love the encounter of when he's sleeping, where it's just like ZZ, etc. He's just like he's totally not asleep, but like he seems like he is.
Yeah.
I thought it was just like, I literally thought it was just him doing a bit where he wants you to just fuck off, but I just kept prompting him. But then it's like, oh no, he was actually asleep and he's just saying like stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Have you tried replacing any villagers?
No, because I'm not at the maximum yet, but I accidentally invited this yellow horse to my island named Clyde. That I don't want him on my island anymore.
What's wrong with Clyde?
I'm sorry, Clyde. I'm sorry, any Clyde lovers out there. I just didn't want him on my island.
What's wrong with Clyde?
Nothing bad, really. I want at least one more person from city folk to come to my island. At least that was in my city, even though there's like a 1 in 400 chance of that happening.
Okay.
I have one person there from it already, which is Cookie.
Cookie,
but
that's the pink one, right?
Yeah, the pink dog.
One.
But I want Dottie the rabbit to come to my island because she was my best friend when I was playing City Folk, and it was awesome.
What you should do is you should take to Twitter for that, because people are auctioning off villagers all the time on Twitter.
How do you auction a villager?
I don't know, but people do
are
it.
a commodity.
Like,
I don't
This
think
isn't the slave market.
Like, I swear, every time I get on Twitter and, like, I trend search Animal Crossing, it's like, hey, I'm getting rid of this guy, who wants him?
I don't think you can just give them to
Animal
people.
Crossing is such like a nice, fun, lighthearted game until you get into the actual like logistics of wanting to perfect it by exchanging people. I was explaining to Aiden earlier what's actually happening when you try to get a villager off your island, and it's the most fucked up shit actually.
Yeah.
It's basically you bully them until they get so sad that they can't take it anymore and they leave.
And then they ask you if they should stay, and you say yes, leave.
Yeah. where you have to not only just ignore them outright, but you also have to like talk shit about them and everything.
Yeah. I don't think I can bring myself to do that.
Yeah. That's why with Clyde, I'm just ignoring him.
Are you willing to become Kylo Ren when trying to get your villagers off? Because like it's one thing to like not want a villager on there, but it's another thing to fucking just straight up gaslight them so that they would get so sad that they leave.
Yeah, that's why. That's why since I do still have one like slot left for a villager, because you can have 10 villagers. I have 9 right now, so that's why I'm just kind of ignoring Clyde. I'm not like trying to force him out because I mean I don't need him gone. He's okay, but
yeah. I've after hearing this before, and I don't know if this was before I got Animal Crossing, but when I heard someone talking about it, I was like, yeah, any villager that comes, just let him come, let him stay, because I don't think I can be the one to ostracize them so that they leave.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. What a great game though.
I think it's funny a few days after both of you guys came to my island, I talked to Cookie and she's like, "Oh, it's a good thing that Drank stopped by the other day." It didn't bring up at all. Didn't even mention him. Like there was more than one person who came to the island.
Hey, did you
and I talked to Cookie the most.
Yeah, you actually talked to people. I just kind of showed up once and said hi, and that was it. Then I had the more impressive, like, lasting impression.
It's because you're so mysterious. You just showed up and left.
He said hi and left.
Drinks from Bananarama, the mystery.
I forgot your island's Bananarama.
Yeah, because what I wanted to do was Banana Republic or something like that, and it was too short. It was too long, and I didn't want to have it. I was like, fuck. I didn't know if like bananas were a thing that can, like a fruit that you can grow in Animal Crossing.
Yes,
so
they
I was
are.
I was expecting at some point when you guys visited my island to be like, why is it called Bananarama? It has fucking oranges. I was gonna say, shut up, don't worry about it.
You know, the thought crossed my mind, but was like, that's not funny enough.
What a great game.
I love it. I should play it more.
We need to visit our islands again.
I haven't. Yeah. I've done literally nothing since last time, so don't come to mine.
It makes me jealous because I looked up something for Animal Crossing just now, and the person in the cover picture in the background, Dottie, is there. I want Dottie on my island.
Oh man.
So is that it for Animal Crossing?
I guess so.
Can we have a moment of silence, please?
Who died?
Battlefront 2.
Oh, that's who died.
Yeah. It's over, and I'm sad.
Yeah.
Star Wars Battlefront 2 2017 has probably the greatest redemption story in gaming history.
Yeah, seriously.
That game started off so bad with microtransactions left, right, and center, and now it's a game that people are willing to pay for DLC. And it just ended so suddenly, too. That's the worst part. There was like no lead up to it. It was like, hey, here's this patch. Oh, by the way, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's more because DICE is moving all of their people over to the new Battlefield.
Which is stupid, because if you think about it, the high of Battlefront right now, like, Scarif just came out. It was a highly anticipated update. The Rise of Skywalker came out not too long ago, and people came back in droves for that. It's just sad to see a game that turned around and people loved it just die for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's even worse is that there's like no plans, or they haven't confirmed anything for like a potential Battlefront 3 or another DICE Star Wars game anyways.
We do know that there's I don't know if there's like said anything, but I think it's been said that more Fallen Order stuff will be coming out.
Yes.
There are 3 other confirmed Star Wars games in development right now.
Okay, they are confirmed.
The Fallen Order one, I can't remember who's making it. Is it Motive or Criterion? They're making like a Starfighter game.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've heard about that, but I don't remember.
I think it's the same people who worked on Starfighter Assault, because that wasn't DICE.
I think it was.
It better be like Rogue Squadron, Rebel Strike in those kinds of games, because those are good.
That's what I'm hoping for. Because and then the third one, which everyone's gonna love and no one will complain about, is Lego Star Wars. I mean,
let's go. We got a release date.
You can't.
Yeah, October 20th.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
sick.
well, maybe. From what I've heard, the video that had that was immediately taken back down.
Oh.
So that could change. And I didn't actually see the video myself. I just saw Twitter blow up. But yeah, Battlefront's over. Scarif came out. They finally added a skin for Darth Maul.
That is stupid to get.
You have to get 5,000 kills as Darth Maul to unlock the skin.
Oh, that's
They also finally added a skin for Palpatine to mirror his appearance from The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
2 new Rey skins, and I think they said and a Kylo Ren skin. I was thinking Finn, but no, it's Ren.
Yeah.
One of the Rey skins is actually kind of locked behind like a cool little mystery thing, which apparently we missed half of it.
Seriously?
I guess someone else in our lobby went and did part of it, because after we shoot the Hondo's painting, we're supposed to go to the Slave 1 and do something over there.
Seriously?
Yeah, and we totally missed it.
Well, I just kept hearing like dings as we were doing it, so...
Yeah, I'm not sure, but we missed half of it. Doesn't matter. Skin's cool. I'm not going to use it.
Yeah.
Mostly because I
cool,
just don't
but
play
spoilers.
Rey. Yeah. I just don't play Rey enough to care anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Scarif came out, blah blah blah. Supremacy for original trilogy. And that's really it. Sadly.
Yeah. I would have hoped that I would have liked it if they would have at least done something for the last season of the Clone Wars.
Yeah, that's what everyone was hoping for. And they said there aren't going to do like major content updates, but I wouldn't put it past them to make a couple new clone skins.
That'd be cool.
And they could very easily make the Season 7 clone skins.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also, I would have liked to see like Ahsoka as a hero and that kind of stuff, because they could have easily
as did the devs. The devs are just as sad and confused as we are, kind of.
Seriously?
Like they knew it was happening, but they're just as sad as we are that it was just cut off so abruptly.
Yeah, like even if you put Ahsoka in, there's an easy like person that you could put opposite to her as a villain in Ventress.
Yeah, that's exactly
she's
what they were
dual
going to do
lightsabers.
if they did
Oh my
it.
god, I would fucking love if Ventress got into Battlefront.
And then like both Ahsoka and Ventress have plenty of options for like skins and stuff.
Yeah.
Because like Ahsoka could have like her original outfit, her second outfit, her Season 7 outfit, and then her Rebels outfit. That's 4 right there.
Yeah, I would have taken them over BB-8 and BB-9A.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm still baffled by that decision. Like, if they were gonna add new heroes from the sequel trilogy, why balls?
Needed to get some balls, that's why.
They got their balls way too late.
Hey man, I'm sorry that you can't get these 2 really good female characters. Here's some balls.
Exactly the opposite.
Exactly the opposite.
And what's worse is that, like, continuing on with, like, Clone Wars stuff, there were, like, audio files that had been recorded for General Grievous where he's, like, addressing, like, Padme as if she's standing right in front of him, so there were plans for her to be added to the game.
Jeez.
It's just...
It's sad that they're ending it off when they could do so much more.
Like, especially with the hype of the Clone Wars right now, and... Because it happened in the middle of the Clone Wars. Like, the last 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Probably the worst time they could have done it. I don't blame DICE for anything. That's not their choice. That's on EA. But still.
I hope that like petition or whatever it is that we signed actually does something. I guarantee it won't. But
It won't. But
it will not do a thing.
It'll at least confirm to EA that we want this.
Yeah.
And whether that means they go back to continuing support for Battlefront 2, or they take Battlefront 2, port everything to Battlefront 3, and just continue from there.
Do like an Overwatch 2 with it?
I would happily pay for Battlefront 3 if it was just Battlefront 2 again.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what they're doing with Overwatch 2. They're pretty much taking the first one and porting it to a new game and then adding stuff to that game.
Yeah, I'd be totally fine paying for that.
Yeah.
Because at this point, Battlefront 2 deserves it, and so does DICE.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's a crazy what that game went through.
Yeah, because that is the perfect example of a game turning itself around with a rough start if the devs care, and not all devs care, but DICE did.
Yeah,
and
you
now
could
look at it.
You could have Battlefront 2 or you could have Fallout 76.
Oh man! Oh,
that is those are two games that rough start that had the exact the complete opposite ways of they went complete opposite ways they went about it.
It's such what a shit show 76 is.
I still know people who play it today.
Do they like want to die or?
No, they're just extreme Fallout fans and don't care how bad it is.
Oh.
Which I can understand.
I guess that was us at the start of Battlefront when it was bad.
Oh yeah, that was absolutely us. It was Star Wars. We weren't going to drop it because the game was bad.
I guess.
Night night.
Okay, we'll go to sleep.
Grant, do you want to start? Since you have more than us?
With what?
Shows.
Okay.
Shows, movies.
Well, one of them is more of a combination between me and Aiden, so I'll start with one that I can talk about. I'll start with one I can talk about myself.
Let's save that one for last. The one you shared for us, because that's heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some deep shit. That's some deep shit right there.
Some deep doo-doo.
So I finished this show a while ago, but we haven't recorded in a while, so it's the perfect time to talk about it.
You know, it hasn't come out.
I think I finished it after we tried last time. Doesn't matter.
Wow.
What is the show?
The show is Bojack Horseman.
Oh yeah, right.
This show might be one of the greatest shows I've ever watched in my entire life.
That's a bold statement.
It is a very bold statement because it's true.
Fair.
But it's such a good show because it's so incredibly relatable and like real, but also stupidly funny. Like a show, I don't think a show like that has made me laugh so consistently as it has, but it's also keeping like a good plot and actual like a serious tone with all of this like humor around it, and it like it really makes you like feel for all the characters, and you really don't know what's gonna happen next, especially throughout the last season of it. But it's I don't even like know. It's so weird too because it's just like humans and animals all interacting. It's not Beastars, but
yeah, they don't explain that, do they? It just kind of is there.
It's just kind yeah. But like it is. I'm mainly talking about the last season because that kind of just all happened at once. But it just like gets so deep, and you care about like all the characters and all that because all of them are. Just about every character, something bad is going on with them. Like, and that's pretty much just throughout the entire show. But yeah, it's nice to actually see them like where they all end up throughout all of it, and just to kind of have like a resolution that's pretty satisfying to this overall story because it's 6 seasons long, and just to see where everyone started at the beginning. And how they got to the end is because a lot of them are in totally different places now. So, but yeah, that show's insane. It's an insanely good story, and it is insanely funny. So, yeah, I'd definitely check it out if you haven't.
All right, I should get back into it because
one thing good.
That I liked it a lot, and I liked the themes I was going for. But there was a thing that it did where it would have it would do a bit, but it felt like it would do it for way too long. Like
Yeah.
the one, like the bit with the strainers was the one that I'm thinking of immediately. Where like
Yeah.
it has like the story of Bojack that's like super interesting, but then it's just a stupid Mr. Peanut Butter and fuck, what's his name?
Todd?
I'm forgetting it. Todd, yeah. Where they just have this weird like, hey, let's buy a bunch of strainers and maybe they'll be able to sell really well, and it just does that for like half the episode, and you're just like, God, go on to the next thing already.
That's like the point of their characters, though, that they're just so stupid, but it just works.
That I know, like that's the point of the humor, and the thing is that like they're spending way too much time on this thing that won't do anything, but like it's like when you get the joke, but then they just keep going. It's like, okay, you don't need to go on with this bit. Yeah, but what I've seen of Bojack was great. So I should probably get back into it.
Yeah, you should definitely. Yeah, you would definitely love it, especially as it gets into the later seasons. Just with how the story goes.
Alright. With that, Grant, have you watched Beastars yet?
No, not yet. I know I said I would. I am not a man of my word.
It's the thing on my list that I have marked to talk about, but I don't want to talk about until you have.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. I ruined the segment.
It's ruined. We gotta scrap the entire episode now.
I guess real quick I can talk about 2 movies that I saw because there's not too much I want to say about them. So I've watched the Violet Evergarden movie as well as the Konosuba movie. I don't have much to talk about it because these are literally just extended episodes. That's basically what they are. It's basically like both of them are about like an hour and a half long episode, where mostly with Konosuba, but I guess I'll talk about Violet Evergarden first since I've talked about that show before. So Violet Evergarden is about this girl named Violet Evergarden, who was a soldier who was raised to basically be a machine in the war, and the person that she sort of saw as like a father figure, the person that she loved, even though she didn't know that it was love, he's gone, and she goes on to basically become a doll, which is someone that writes letters for people. This takes place after all of Violet Evergarden, and it follows, well, the story of Violet Evergarden, it just follows as Violet writes letters that have like deep meanings to these specific to one specific person, and then each episode is dedicated to the story behind like the reason why the letter is being written and stuff like that, the emotions tied, whatever. This movie, it's basically that, but it goes on for much longer, and it also extends into the two characters at hand. For the most part with Violet Evergarden, the letters are about like one person's feelings and maybe towards like another person. This time it goes into both characters associated, where you have this I forget, I don't have any notes written for this because I didn't think I'd be talking about these actually. You have one character who's basically a noble's daughter, but she was raised in the slums, and she found this girl named Taylor, whose name I actually do remember. She finds her like on the street, and she decides, I'm going to take this girl in as my sister. But at some point in her story, she is discovered to be the daughter of a noble. So she gets taken in, and then she's separated from Taylor. And the story is about... It starts with Violet just helping her be more of a noble, like act more like ladylike, and then eventually going to going into her telling Violet the story of Taylor, and then going on to write a letter to her, and that's the first half of the movie. And then the second half is actually Taylor. It skips like I believe 4 years in the future. And it skips to Taylor being like a really young girl to like not a toddler, but like an older child, for lack of a better way of saying it. But it goes into Taylor basically. So there's a guy named fuck, I'm forgetting his name. I'm gonna look this up really quick actually because I need to like highlight it. I'm gonna look up character names so I can make this a little bit easier. But there's a delivery character named Benedict, who's the one who basically delivered Violet's the letter from the girl that was basically the noble's daughter to Taylor, and she basically leaves the orphanage that she was from so that she can be a mail delivery person, just like Benedict. And the story becomes not necessarily the reunion between Taylor and I think the other girl, but it becomes a story of like their reconnection and sort of coming into terms with not really coming into terms with sort of like being able to say the things that they didn't want to. Basically any other story with Violet Evergarden, except this time it follows two different characters with their own significance in the story. And I guess there's really not much else to say. It's Violet Evergarden, but longer. Visuals are still absolutely amazing. Story's still amazing. Violet as a character is taken much more of a backseat from this because this isn't a story about her like the other ones were. But that's fine because we do see that she is. We see that like the feelings that she had before are just as significant in this narrative than they were like in the actual show Violet Evergarden. If you like Violet Evergarden, then watch this because it's just more, basically. After that comes the KONOSUBA movie. This is exactly so. Violet Evergarden is like a extended episode. KONOSUBA is way more an extended episode than it is because it has like the exact same cuts, the exact same structure. The comedy is about the same, but it's just that it takes like an hour or so to finish this episode than it does the others. It doesn't. It feels less like a movie and more that you just watch like maybe like 3 episodes like in a row and then that's good. Like the editing is exactly the same way too, where like when they cut from scene to scene, they'll have like the voice actors saying KONOSUBA in this very different way, or saying something related to it, and it shows like the logo. This time around, it's the story of, I guess, one of the characters, Megumi, her village basically potentially being under siege by one of the demon lords, knights, or generals, or something like that. Because previously they've encountered 2, if I'm remembering right. They encountered 2 generals and defeated them, but this time it follows a completely new one that we haven't seen before, and her kind of being a pain in the backside of one of the characters' villages. And for the most part, it's no different from any of the other encounters that we've had with these generals, but this time it just takes way longer to actually get through. Where it feels like I said that it does feel just like an extended episode that just takes a while to go through, and for the most part that's true, but it does at least try. It does still have fun and trying to find interesting ways to keep this story going in a way that feels both realistic but also helps with just how hilariously weird and dumb this show can be. Like it might be a spoiler, so I don't know if I want to say this bit, but it's so good. Where like so in KONOSUBA we have 4 characters. We have Kazumi, who is like the rogue guy who's actually just a scumbag. We have Aqua, who is a water goddess, but she's super useless.
Nice.
We have
Sounds like
Megumi.
it.
Yeah, we have Megumi, who is like she's the arc wizard who has like who mastered explosion magic, but she has like the one move and nothing else. And using it like basically puts her out of commission for the rest of the day. And then you have Darkness, who's like the knight who's from noble heritage, but she's a fucking masochist. So it follows like this ridiculous cast of really shitty, but like not actually shitty characters, doing way better things than you think they would actually be able to do, like take out the generals of the guy who is basically the reason why this world is kind of fucked up. So it does a thing where it really plays into the strengths of these the premise of these characters being like, oh, they're really strong, but they actually suck dick. And it does all these fun bits with them that exemplifies a lot of things. Like there's actually, yeah, I guess I can say it because I love it so much, where there's a bit where Kazumi basically betrays his friends because like he's like, hey, you guys don't appreciate me enough, so I'm going to switch sides with this chick because you guys don't do that. But it's actually not that. It's because the enemy has massive titties.
I don't see any problems here.
And then the enemy reveals that she's actually half man. And there's a bit where I can't remember what he says to make it happen. But Cosby's like, why do I feel something touching my butt? And then the girl like looks at him embarrassed, and then just like with the most strict voice just says, because there is. It's just like it does a thing where like it does everything it can to take the premise of these characters, like this guy's a scumbag, this person's useless, this person has the one move and nothing else. It just making things as ridiculous and as stupid as possible, but still being extremely enjoyable as well. Konosuba, Legend of Crimson. What a great episode, I should say. Oh man.
I love that kind of over-the-top stuff.
Yeah. I want to say that you can watch this without watching the rest of the show, but it does help to watch everything else not just because of like understanding the characters, but because it's just a funny as shit show that the more you watch it, the better it gets.
Yeah.
Oh man. You guys want to talk about your thing now? The big one?
The big boy.
The big one. The
big
chungus.
Boy. The unit, if you will.
Yes.
The unit is over.
The one unit.
We are talking, obviously, about Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7.
It was a good ride while it lasted.
Yeah. Not going into spoilers because at the time of the recording, it came out 4 days ago. It really did feel like a movie, not 4 episodes.
Yeah.
It has to be watched back to back.
The last 4 episodes, specifically.
My goddamn heart.
It's intense.
I heard it gets sad as shit.
Oh, I almost cried. I won't lie, I almost cried.
It is also very intense, like at the end.
Yeah. Interesting tidbit about Maul is that Ray Park actually mocapped him for that.
Seriously?
Yeah, I remember seeing like some behind the scenes where like the people were like mocapping as the characters,
and
especially like during the combat.
He specifically kind of changed up Maul's fighting style to like more like accurately like account for his robot legs.
Nice.
Ray Park takes this shit seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know he takes things seriously when he's done so well. Well, I mean, also with Obi-Wan's actor, but done so well when during his choreography that they need to slow him down because it looks fake.
Yeah, he did that again. My heart. The last 4 episodes very, very heavily cross over with Revenge of the Sith.
It's like insane how much it does.
Like, I don't know which you should watch first yet.
Oh yeah, like we're still stuck on that.
Because we're still in the process, and it's been stopped due to the world. The process of watching through all of Star Wars. The crossover is so deep. I don't know whether we should watch Revenge of the Sith first or those last 4 episodes. Like, I legitimately don't know.
Yeah, like it I mean, I've had ideas, but who knows how on Earth we would implement
Like,
those.
I didn't think it was going to go that far.
Yeah.
I feel like we should watch Revenge of the Sith first, just so like we have that context, and then being able to experience this as like an addition to them.
Yeah, that's probably the better way to go about it.
Yeah.
All right.
But man, my fucking heart.
Yes.
I'm so everything about it, and I want to talk about it, but I can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's so like epic, but it also gets you feeling like what is happening. Like even if you know everything like with Star Wars, you're still thinking like what is happening here. Like it's kind of crazy to see the stuff that happens more in depth because there's.
And this is something that Yukishita will witness more specifically when you watch it with us, because Grant and I consider ourselves like two halves of one Star Wars encyclopedia, and we weren't even entirely sure like what was happening.
Yeah.
Interesting. I love when stuff does that though.
It was oh my god.
Oh man.
I feel like we should move on before I start saying like spoiler stuff, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, it was probably the best Star Wars that there is at the moment.
I would argue that honestly, those last 4 episodes trump just about everything else that's come out since Disney took over.
Yes, it absolutely does.
Now, to be fair, a lot of season 7 was already like planned out, and they had like animatics for what would have been the original season 7 and 8. So this has been the plan all along, and a lot of the story has also already been told in like the Ahsoka novels, but to actually see it is something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To see it and experience it.
Yeah.
But we should move on. Let's
Yes.
move on.
All right. Patch notes time.
I got a lot.
I have 2.
I got one big one.
You got
and 3
2?
smaller ones. You have 2. Well, but I think that most of ours are crossing over a little bit, or at least like mine.
Probably not.
All right. And you start then.
All right, let's talk about SpongeBob.
As we do.
SpongeBob: The Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated has a collector's edition that's $400. It's stupid.
Hey man.
How far will you go for SpongeBob?
Hey man.
Not 400, 300.
Why would you buy a brand new Nintendo Switch when you can get the Bikini Bottom collector's edition?
Oh god. The collector's edition comes with, I don't even remember. It has like 3 statues. A statue of SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy. It comes with a pair of socks that are like stylized as like SpongeBob socks. Like 6 or 7 like tiki keychain things. Something else, and like 4 lithographs.
Yeah.
It for what it is, it's worth it.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna get it.
Yeah, that merchandise is actually super cool though, right? Especially those lithographs, especially are like that. That's me like looking at those and being like, oh god, I want it. But
like, I'm gonna get the game and I'm gonna play it. I'm not gonna spend $300 on it.
Yeah,
though.
Yeah.
like that price tag is insane.
I mean, I was willing to spend $90 on a Persona 5 collector's edition where I got a mask, an art book, and a soundtrack.
Yeah,
But
that's too much.
yeah,
That's $90. You're not breaking 100 though. Like that's just like you love Persona, so it's understandable.
Well, for Royal, that was also the highest we could go though.
yeah, that is the top that you could go with Royal, unless you wanted to import the Japanese collector's edition, but that also came with the Japanese version of the game.
Yeah, if you might love your game, but do you love it to spend $300 on it?
It depends on the game.
Oh, man.
Because outright, like to buy it outright, probably not. But who knows how much money I've spent on The Sims 4?
Sure. I think it's just that like spending $300 on a game like over time is fine, but like on one sitting for a single collector's edition for merch that holy shit probably shouldn't cost as much. But hey, that's some fucking advertising right there, if I have to say. They were showing that
there
all
are
in for this.
there are 2 different versions of the collector's edition. There's like names for them. I can't remember what they are. The other one's 150, so more reasonable, but I still wouldn't get.
What they take out of it?
That one is just the Spongebob statue, the socks, and the keychains. I think that's it. Here, let me look.
And if I can buy the lithographs alone, then I'd be happy.
You'd be happy?
I'd be happy. I would masturbate to those lithographs.
That's what you said at first.
I said I got stuck with oh god.
Okay, so the $300 version is the FUN version, like F is for friends who do stuff together.
Yeah.
The other one is the Shiny Edition. And the Shiny Edition specifically comes... Oh, the Shiny Edition does come with the lithographs, okay.
Oh, cool.
So the Shiny Edition is just SpongeBob, socks, wall stickers. I forgot about that. It does not come with the keychains. It comes with stickers, the game, and the lithographs. While the Fun Edition comes with Sandy, SpongeBob, and Patrick, socks, the keychains, the stickers, and the lithographs.
I feel like the $150 is the better deal in this situation.
Yeah, because you still get the lithographs for it, and they look cool.
Yeah.
And then the standard edition comes with the game.
Alright.
So, and it's on everything: PC, Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. So, I know I'll be getting it, and it's only $30. It's not like even a full price game either.
Nice.
Unless you get the Fun Edition.
Yeah.
It's quite the jump from $30 to like $150.
Some people will buy it. Some people will buy it.
I can't wait for like the unboxing videos to hit YouTube because I will watch those.
Oh yeah, same.
Just to see what the lithographs are, because you can't really see them in the picture. You can see one, but it's not like great. And there's 6 of them. So.
Let's go on. I'll go on to more sad news this time around, though.
Aww.
Who died?
After that. Yeah. Again. Mick Gordon likely will not compose any further Doom games.
No, why? I've heard that there's something going on with this. I don't know the specifics.
Alright, I'll try and go step by step with what's the story. So, Mick Gordon, he finishes the soundtrack for Doom Eternal, but he doesn't finish the official mixing for the official release when it does come out. So Mick asks Bethesda for more time, and he gets more time, about 6 weeks. And with that, he goes ahead and tells ID Software what's going on. Because the collector's edition is a thing, ID gets anxious that the soundtrack's not going to be released on time, so they go ahead and they hurriedly have their lead audio engineer mix the remaining unmixed tracks. Because of like certain laws that certain laws that make it so that if the soundtrack's not released with the collector's edition, then people could take legal action if they wanted to. Because of this, the collector's edition gets released with the soundtrack, and a handful of tracks are phenomenally done, like absolutely amazing, better than Doom 2016. But the rest are fucking terribly mixed.
Seriously?
Yeah, like it sound like, basically, to put it simply, basically everything, all the instruments, all the sounds, they sound like at the exact same volume, and there's no dynamics, so it sounds extremely flat and muddy.
So it's just noise.
No.
So it's so it sounds like all the sounds are just fighting against each other.
Oh no.
There's like a really good a really good picture that a different audio engineer found, that it shows like a BFG division compared to the remixed version in Doom Eternal, like the comparison from Doom 2016 to Doom Eternal, where BFG division had like a bunch of like really high highs and really low lows. Like it was really dynamic in its sound, but then the new BFG sound, it's just like basically like completely cut off. Part of that is because like when Mick Gordon actually sends the tracks to be put into the game, then they are compressed, like they're super compressed, so that they can be essentially, for lack of a better word, rendered in real time. That's not at all what that word
I mean,
means,
that makes total sense, but yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, that audio engineer that found that difference, he supposedly posts that on Twitter, and Mick Gordon responds and tells him that he didn't actually mix that track. Turns out that the majority of tracks Mick didn't fix because he didn't have the time to, and he can't actually go back and fix anything as like he would like to because of his contract. So it took a while for this to come out because and at first it was just like a lot of people thinking that Bethesda's just fucking over Mick Gordon for what seems like no reason, because if Mick Gordon came out and said, hey, the soundtrack won't come out until later, people would be totally fine with that. But it's the reason why this shit show happened was because of like laws and the collector's edition coming out super early. And it seems like it still feels like so much unnecessary nonsense has happened that has done nothing but hurt the soundtrack specifically. Because like Doom 2016, its soundtrack came like I think 4 months after the game came out, and this one came in like not even a month. So it's kind of not great. And as you'd imagine, Mick Gordon, puts his heart and soul and everything into making this soundtrack not only good but better than the last, which got like extreme praise, only for that to just get horribly mixed, and then he can't do anything to fix it. So that's the situation. Fucking hell.
That sucks.
That's terrible.
That's some great music he makes. And that's from someone who's never played the new Doom games.
Yeah, and the worst part about it too is that like the tracks themselves are all, even the ones that are mixed bad, like that weren't mixed by him, are still fucking great. They're all absolutely amazing and still better than Doom 2016. It's just that the sound is messed up in a way so that you can't appreciate how great these soundtracks are, or at least not completely. Like if you're playing the game, then will sound fine. But there's no way to experience these tracks in their fullest form outside of the game itself. So you can play Doom Eternal and enjoy the soundtrack, but you can't like open up Spotify and listen to the soundtrack, and it's gonna sound just as great, if not better.
Yeah.
So yeah.
'Tis a shame.
So I hope that they do inevitably find a composer that will do well with the next Doom installments soundtrack, because there are still good composers out there that aren't Mick Gordon, obviously, but we know that this is definitely going to mess with the identity of Doom as it is, because Mick Gordon he's basically like he basically went out and made a perfect soundtrack, and it sucks that the potential of what could have gone even further won't be there.
A real damn shame.
Real damn shame. Grant, you want to go off of anything else? Sad or happy? Sappy news.
Well, I mean, this news could be sad for some people, but also good for others. So, I don't know if you guys heard about the mess that was WWE 2K20.
I have not.
Oh, I've heard a little bit of that, yeah.
It was the absolute broken mess that actually was unplayable once 2020 came around, because the game would not, that once your game system's calendar turned to 2020, the game would not work. But after they fixed that issue, the game was just an absolute buggy mess that was pretty much unplayable most of the time. It would constantly crash. Player models would look awful, and it was terrible. It was one of the worst games of the year, possibly one of the worst sports games ever. And
I don't know how I feel about calling WWE a sports game.
It's not. I just say that to compare to other stuff, but
yeah, gotcha.
But it seems like that has kind of paid a price, because that, in addition to all of the coronavirus stuff going on, WWE 2K21 has been canceled. So there will not be a game this year for them.
Oh, Lord.
So their previous game was so broken that I guess they needed to completely restart from scratch for this one, and everything going on, they just had to completely cancel it.
So are they just skipping 2021 and going to get to 2022?
Yeah, I think so.
Or
I
is the
don't
game
know.
series just dead?
I'm pretty sure it was just this one game. But still, the fact that like this kind of like yearly release thing has been really messed up. Like, it was so bad last year. They completely. It was a mess. You just have to look up clips. It is insane. It is laughable. It is so funny how bad it is.
Oh man.
I'm gonna have to look this up.
Yeah, just look up WWE 2K20 glitch compilation. But yeah, it was, so they have just outright canceled this game.
With that, on the topic of video game messes, Last of Us 2, Last of Us Part 2.
Oh my god.
Still another thing I don't know a ton about, but I have heard about.
I also don't know a ton about 2, because I haven't gotten too into anything. All I know is that, so, Last of Us 2 Part 2 gets delayed indefinitely. Only for an angry employee to leak leak so much of the game to the point that people are talking about the game's ending before it comes out. And then Naughty Dog comes out and says that it's gonna get released like what? I think like 6 months, like 6 weeks later.
Wow.
So the indefinitely delayed thing was kind of an exaggeration, if I may say.
Well, a necessary exaggeration though, considering the climate of the world.
True.
But
I'd rather have them say it's indefinitely delayed than say it's delayed 2 weeks and then have it be like 2 months.
Yeah. Still, but what a like the thing that's craziest about this though isn't the fact that so much of the game got leaked. It's that so much of the game got leaked, and the people that were afraid that this game would turn out to be shit realized that it is in fact going to be shit. Everything that they feared that was going to come with this new game turns out to be true with these leaks.
Oh jeez.
Oh no.
So that is the biggest yikes.
But the first one's so good.
Yeah. So I'd imagine that they said that they're going to spend this time to polish the game, but honestly, with
how much can you do in this time?
How much could you polish?
Could you just completely overhaul and remake the game in 6 weeks? I don't think so.
No. So I think that the end product of Last of Us 2 is going to be less than ideal, maybe say. Oh man.
No.
So was it the actual game itself was bad? That's the thing with everything that was like leaked.
The main issue is like that the game got leaked, right? That so much of it got leaked, but
yeah.
It's also there's a part where what we know of the game now, even though we know way too much, we know that it is not great.
Oh jeez.
So I can't wait for Cyberpunk 2077 to get Game of the Year, because Last of Us 2 is definitely not going to get it.
Is 2077 coming out this year?
Yeah.
I think
should be.
Yeah. I don't know when. I don't remember when. Let me actually look this up really quick.
I kind of forgot that game was actually happening.
Sure about that?
Cyberpunk is kind of in the same situation that like Nier was with me for a while, where I kept hearing about it, but like I couldn't tell you what it was, and then all of a sudden it was out.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
So
I can tell you more about what Cyberpunk is and what Nier is when that was going on.
So Cyberpunk 2077 release date is September 17th. So like way later this year.
Okay.
So I'd imagine like with a bunch of games getting delayed, this one is probably getting the least.
Now is that with delays on top of it? Or has it already been delayed?
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be coming out like later this year anyways, but I don't remember I don't know if it got delayed or not.
Okay.
but we are still like getting like bits and pieces like that game. Like there are going to be first-person sex scenes, and you can customize your genitals.
Oh man,
I can't wait to customize my dick.
Hey, babe, give me a second. I need to install my RoboCock.
This game's gonna be so weird.
It's gonna be
so much fun.
It's gonna be the most fun game. I'm already feeling it. Alright, what other news do we got?
I have a news.
Go for it.
So a while ago, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer was announced to be coming to the Nintendo Switch. And it apparently has a release date now. It's coming out May 12th. 4 days.
Oh shit, that's super soon.
And I am very excited because I love that game. Even though I am very bad at it. Dude, come over to my house and play. I have it on the N64.
Okay. No, I'll wait till it's out on the Switch and play it on the Switch.
Alright.
Yeah.
Because I'll probably just get it myself.
But yeah, it's a pretty interesting, and I'm surprised that it's coming out so soon, actually. I don't even know when it was announced to be coming out. It was just maybe a week ago.
It was announced coming out to the Switch.
It was like I think it was on that mini direct that they had not long ago.
Oh, the one I didn't watch. Of course.
But yeah, I am very excited.
Nice. Do we want to talk about Valorant first, or should we talk about the PS5 controller?
Let's talk about Valorant first, because that's actually what I was going to talk about.
Okay.
Valorant, it's CS:GO, but it looks like Overwatch.
Cool.
I feel like that's an accurate way to describe it. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
It's currently still in beta, obviously. If you know what Valorant is, you know. And the only way to get it is through Twitch drops, which in itself is just random chance.
Yeah.
It's kind of stupid, but it's whatever. But I haven't really been following up with this, so I don't know if it's changed at all. But the thing that people haven't really been the biggest fan about is the anti-cheat system, and how it's supposed to it's a step above like the administrator controls on your computer, which I don't like that.
Yeah. So
is that still the case? What's up with that?
I'm not sure, but of what we know, essentially, at least like it might be outdated information, we don't know, but Valorant's anti-cheat, basically the software that's used to keep track of that, it has above administer levels of like with your computer,
which is scary,
which is sketchy in itself. But then there's also the thought of like, what if someone gets access to that? What could be done when someone has access to your computer above administrator levels? It's yikes from me, Chief.
It's the end of the digital age as we know it.
Yeah.
Calamity will proceed.
Yeah, I'm not exactly comfortable with a game having above administrator.
Which is disappointing for me, because I actually am in the beta and I did want to try it, but the whole anti-cheat thing makes me not want to.
Yeah, people still play the game, but like now that we know this, it comes to that's totally like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's something. It's a deal breaker. That's what I'm thinking of. It's definitely a deal breaker.
If that changes when the game actually comes out, because it will be free to play when it comes out, I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't change, I'm not touching that. Sorry, Riot. I mean, I don't care for your games really much to begin with.
Sorry, Riot, but like not actually.
The one game that interests me is sketch as fuck, so I'm not going to touch it.
Oh, man. Let's move on to the PlayStation 5 controller then.
It looks fucking weird.
It's fancy.
When I looked at it initially, I did not know how to feel, because it had the design was fine, but I didn't know whether I liked it or not. I think it's starting to grow on me now, but if someone is to say that this controller is ugly, I could not blame them.
I think it looks alright.
I mean, it's not the worst controller I've ever seen. It just seems very rounded.
It's very angular in design.
It almost reminds me of it kind of looks like to me PlayStation's making their own version of the Xbox One controller.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
I don't think I see that because the Xbox One's controller is like it's okay, I can see where you're coming from, but it's like if they took that and basically like shrunk. How do I say it right? But it's like they shrunk things a little bit. Like they took some anchor points in Illustrator and just like stretched it a little bit.
Yeah.
Made things thinner.
Yeah.
And made like so some shapes come out a little bit more, and you're like, huh?
Yeah, well, I
And
guess for me, it just kind of like the overall shape of it looks pretty similar to an Xbox One controller for me. Of course, the layout is completely different because it's a PlayStation controller, but yeah, with like the D-pad and the buttons.
Which honestly, I like that because I prefer the feel of the Xbox controller, but I like the functionality of the PlayStation controller better. If that makes any sense.
I think it just comes down to as long as the controller feels good in the hands, it's fine.
Yeah,
because the biggest complaint with like PlayStation, at least the PS4's controller, is that like it feels fine, but for a lot of people, it's not comfortable, especially if you got big hands like me.
My main issue with the PS4 controller is that I don't like the sticks.
That's fair.
Like I think that Xbox has the superior controller, just because like the triggers are better, and the sticks are definitely the sticks by far are better on Xbox, just because they're concave. On Xbox.
Yeah.
Like, it is hard to use those sticks to be, like, precise on a PlayStation controller. But
easily the Xbox One controller is actually the best feeling controller that's out there.
Yeah. But I do believe that at least holding the controller, the PS4 controller, is a little bit more comfortable, but in terms of the actual, like, buttons and the overall usability of it, I think that Xbox controller is definitely better.
It's because it's like it universally feels better. The PlayStation 4 controller, feels good to like very specific people, then not great at all for some people.
Yeah, like everything but the actual general holding it, is better on Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That being said, I can't wait to see what the actual PlayStation 5 looks like.
Those like the supposed leaked pictures just look weird.
Yeah, I'm looking at one right now. It's like a box, but like the middle is carved out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen some designs of it that like if it comes out to look like this, I don't know how I feel about that. But it doesn't seem like anything. It's not nearly as if from what I'm looking at right now, it doesn't look nearly as offensive as the Xbox One Series X.
Offensive. That's a great way to describe it.
That is a weird way to describe it.
The first thing I thought when I saw the Xbox Series X, like the actual console itself, was you might as well buy a fucking PC.
Yeah. It's literally just a Well, that...
It's basically a tower, but like much more minimalist.
I would actually say that kind of fits with the direction Microsoft is taking, though, because they're putting a heavy, a focus on like the PC community now.
True, but like,
and I think they said they're going to push like mouse and keyboard support for every game on the Xbox Series X.
But then the question,
it basically is a PC at that point.
Yeah, so at that point it's like, why even buy a console when you can just buy a PC and get basically the same thing?
Because it's more mainstream and it's probably cheaper than a good PC, so people will still get it.
I guess so. Still. I'm not a fan of it at all.
I will not be getting it. I will be getting a PlayStation 5 instead.
Yeah, same.
Because literally the only things that keep me attached to the Xbox at this point, besides you guys and when we play on there, is Halo. And that's on Steam! I don't need the Xbox anymore.
I wanted the PlayStation 4 when it came out, but I didn't because literally everyone else was getting the Xbox One. I was like, okay, fine, I guess. But now I'm at the point where it's just like, fuck it. Everyone can get your goddamn Xbox Series X. I'm sticking to the PlayStation 5.
I think the one sad thing for us specifically is that we're all moving to the PlayStation 5. I don't think Tyler will. He's too stubborn to move.
Yeah.
Man, fuck him.
Honestly, though, yeah. When was the last time we played a game with Tyler besides Left 4 Dead 2? I don't know. I honestly can't remember.
I played Dark Souls 3 with him.
Well,
a lot lately.
Okay.
I just realized like how much of this podcast is just shitting on Tyler.
Oh, not as much as you think.
He's the only one who's not here, so he can't defend himself.
You know what's the best part, though? We would say this to his face, too.
We would, and I do. every time I see his face.
Is that all the news we got, then?
That's all I got.
I got a couple more. Nothing super exciting, though. I was going to touch on Lego Star Wars, but we kind of already talked about that. This one. I love games.
I imagine
continue.
That you are on a gaming podcast right now.
You've already established this.
And one of my favorite video games of all time was a game we randomly downloaded back on the 360 when it was free with gold. Any guesses?
Happy Wars.
I think that's just free.
Oh, it is? I don't know.
But that's fun.
Castle Miner Z?
Was that ever no. Gold?
No, it wasn't. We paid for that.
Oh, we did. Okay. I got nothing then.
Saints Row the Third.
Oh, right.
It's getting a remaster.
Seriously?
Interesting.
Yeah. So it'll be on everything: Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, the Epic Games Store. But it's coming to the worlds. I don't remember when. But there are videos. There are trailers for it already. You can pre-order it. I've pre-ordered it. Where's the?
That's co-op, isn't it?
Yeah, it's co-op.
We should all play that.
It's coming out this month on the 22nd.
I don't know if I'll buy it, but all I do want to see is like that intro commercial that they had. That's the best thing. That's one of the best things I've ever seen in a video game. It's a great way to start a game, especially to a series that you jump in the middle of and have no understanding of it. Saints Row is like. It's GTA's much more ridiculous and fun cousin, and I love it.
Which is honestly why I prefer Saints Row over GTA, because
it doesn't take itself stupid.
Seriously. Exactly.
It's so dumb.
I've already pre-ordered mine. Unfortunately, it was on the Epic Games Store because I don't even think it will have a Steam release, from what I've seen. But I don't care. It's Saints Row the Third, and I'm gonna play it. I've already bought it so many times after getting it for free on the 360. Because I got it on Steam, and then I bought it on the Switch, because it got released on the Switch just like as is, like a Switch port. Dog shit, don't get it. But I'll happily get it, because I actually was playing Saints Row recently again, just because of the announcement, and I forgot how much fucking fun it is.
Dude, would you be willing to play that co-op with me, because I've never played
Absolutely.
We have to do it, and then maybe get Tyler in on it too.
Yeah.
And then Kisha, if he's willing to comply.
I don't think it's the price of a full game either. I think it's like 30.
Oh,
maybe.
So it's Spongebob price.
Well.
Are you saying it doesn't have a $300 collector's edition?
No, but if it did, I would probably actually get it.
Yeah.
And then it'll come with $40. Okay, I was wrong. But it does come with all of its DLC and expansion packs.
Ooh.
It has 3 expansion packs and a plethora of just DLC outfits and not weapons, just outfits.
Nice.
and vehicles. So, but it'll be great.
Sounds great.
It'll be great.
With that, shall we go into pop-ups?
Pop me up.
All right, I shall.
I got nothing.
I got 1.
I've got 3.
Ooh. Start swinging, big man.
Alright. First one is easily the best. Astartes 5 came out a little while ago. So I've mentioned Astartes before, and it's basically a Warhammer 40k fan project that it's a series of different like animations, and all of it is done by a single person, and that is the sound design, the music, the art direction, the modeling, the rendering, all of it.
Wow.
And holy fucking shit, is it the greatest thing ever. And with each different part, it gets better. Like there's always a noticeable improvement with each one. And the last installment of this 5-part series came out recently, and it's just goddamn. you think that you think that it can't get any better, and then it does. This one is much more focused on the narrative of Astartes, while all the rest of them were much more focused on the action, and even that, it manages to improve on the composition and the lighting and stuff like that to make this like the appropriate end to this phenomenal 5-part, 15-minute series. So I'm going to be dropping the playlist in which you can watch all these parts. At some point, if you guys don't watch it, I'm going to force you to, because it is so good.
I mean, you've already forced me to listen to something I hated, so...
But
I would actually like this.
To make up for making you listen to something that you hated, I'm going to force you to watch something that you will love.
That's fine, because Warhammer's interesting.
Yeah, I did know nothing of Warhammer.
Warhammer covers such a long period of time, because half the games... or like half of it's like medieval fantasy shit, and the other half is like sci-fi action.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
I know absolutely nothing of Warhammer, and I still think that this was amazing.
The only thing I know about Warhammer was when I played Vermintide and Vermintide 2, and those games are fun.
I bought those and no one ever played it with me.
Well, yeah.
Alright, aside from all of Astartes, I also have Minecraft building sounds.
Oh, I love that. It's so good.
Yeah, so it's just a really incredible video of like someone using Minecraft's building sounds as they build a house to the theme of Sweden, if that's the right track I'm thinking.
I think so.
Yeah, Sweden.
Forgive me for not knowing the names of the Minecraft songs, because they're really weird. Like, one of them is called Floating Trees.
No, I know like most of the songs by name, but Sweden and Minecraft, for some reason, those two tracks keep getting switched around in my head. I don't know why. But it's someone building to the sound of this as they make a really interesting house, and it's such like, it seems like such a simple idea, but they managed to do this in a way that seems incredibly impressive, that you're just like, how the fuck did you do that?
The way it starts, it's like there's no person, and like blocks just kind of appear, so you think it's like stop motion. But then near like the latter half of the video, there's like camera movements and stuff. Like the camera's moving, so it can't be stop motion.
Yeah, let me actually read the description really quick. Minecraft building play sounds. The theme of this video is the sounds of Minecraft blocks. I split the sound of the game in process of building a house. I didn't use any plugins or mods. This video is made with 2,960 screenshots and 12 short videos.
Jeez.
When I watched it the first time, the first thing I thought of was, especially with like the sweeping camera angles, is like they had to have done that with like the replay mod, which is like a mod where you can like go back and do like third person like cameras shizzle whizzle.
True.
But the guy said no mods, and we have to take his word for it.
At first I thought it was also just like stop motion, or just like a bunch of screenshots, or just a bunch of clips, right? But then it gets to a part where you're just like, how the fuck did you do that?
It's something you just gotta watch.
You literally just have to watch it, and it's one of those things where it's just like, I strive to be that fucking creative.
Like, I think I could come up with that idea myself. I doubt, I do not have the conviction to make it, though.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, like, it's a simple concept, but done extremely well.
It must have taken the guy at least a month to do all that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Especially that second part.
Yeah. It's insane. You just gotta see it.
Mm-hmm. And then last thing I got pretty quick, Bananas by Noise Cream.
Sorry?
This is a 4-song EP that I came across thanks to a YouTuber that goes by, how do you pronounce it? It's like OYFF, OYF. or something like that, who makes like a bunch of who makes like Doom videos. This EP is basically the best praise I can give it is that it sounds like if the Doom soundtrack and the Hotline Miami soundtrack had a love child. I mean, the last track of it's called the Doom Party, which I think that pretty much sums it up. It's just a really, really good EP, and I would love if this was like a full album. But I've been obsessed with this for a little bit because I found it fairly recently, and the two tracks, the Doom Party, as I mentioned, and also Mist of Rage, which is the first song that I heard. Both of those are incredible songs, and they've gone to my favorites playlist like almost immediately.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and throw the EP on the Spotify link to it in the description. And what you got?
I have a YouTube channel of a man who plays Call of Duty and is wholesome. The channel itself is called The Weekly Slap, but the man behind the channel is the very well-known Jay Schlatt, you know, from Lunch Club, SMP Live, that guy, the funny mic, screaming guy, recently hung a baby from a Wiimote.
Oh my god, I saw that clip, holy shit.
That sounds awful out of context, but if you know, you know.
In his defense, it wasn't actually that bad until he accidentally made it.
Yeah, until he accidentally, it wasn't intended to be bad.
You're like, oh, is that what he was going for? That's kind of fucked up. And then you're like, oh, that wasn't what he was going for. Oh, it got so much more fucked up now.
But yeah, Schlatt just plays Call of Duty, usually Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer, and just gives life advice. And it's really weird. But I like it. Most videos are like, I don't know, like 10, 15, 20 minutes at most. And he usually takes like 2 comments or like 2 questions and like just gives life advice.
Oh shit, that reminds me of someone.
No.
Go ahead if you have anything more to say, because
I mean, that's really about it. It's just Jay Schlatt being wholesome and playing Call of Duty. That's it.
All right. That remind me of someone that I think I should also throw in the pop-ups as well. A YouTuber by the name of Adam Duff, who is an artist who basically it's like a commentary sort of where it's a video of him making art as he talks about like really deep art topics, like not just like style and stuff like that, but like stuff about like the purpose of artists, like what's the point of being an artist, really existential stuff. And I think that if you're an artist and in a time like this, he is definitely like someone worth checking out. His art is incredible, but seeing the sort of the struggles of another artist, especially when it comes to like the uncertainty and like the sort of difficulty it is in being an artist in modern times, getting that kind of perspective from a different person, I think it's super useful, and it's a resource that I think everyone should use. So I'll go ahead and throw him in the pop-ups as well. Let me actually go ahead and make a note of him for my own notes.
Note! Is that it? Is that the show?
Yeah, because Grant sucks and doesn't have anything else.
Yeah, I do.
Since he doesn't have anything, you do?
I know I suck.
Oh. Well, I'm going to take this opportunity to do some selfless, shameless plugging real quick.
Oh, I guess we should talk about... Yeah, you should go ahead and do that. Go ahead.
If you don't know, I've recently made the switch from YouTube to Twitch. I just like streaming more. That being said, though, I do still love the idea of like editing videos and whatnot. So I've started taking, I took a stream and I'm cutting it into YouTube videos, which you can find on my YouTube, which link to Twitch and YouTube should be in the description. I don't know, I'm not in charge of that. Yeah, it's just a bunch of dumbs. Pun not intended, I guess. Playing Left 4 Dead 2, modded heavily, and it's fun.
Sorry, my dad came in there for a second and he kind of made some noise, so I might need to make a cut there. Sorry.
That's fine. With the stream highlights, it's like cut down, and then I did like subtitling every now and then. I need to go back and like update like the description and like put the color of the subtitle next to like your guys' names, so like if they don't know who we are, they can identify who's talking. But it's fun. There was one clip that I was gonna put on Twitter, but I couldn't because video on Twitter is just stupid and I don't understand it. Where we were waiting for Tyler to join, and I said, "Where's bitch at?"
Oh yeah, that is like, in like.
He's like,
intro
"Hold on, what? Eat my ass."
Yeah, I love that.
Subtitling is fun. I should do it more. And like, the fun part about editing stream highlights is that if it doesn't end up being good, that's fine. I don't have to put it out. It's not like it's like edited content or like recorded content that's edited that has to go out. I'm editing the stream highlights because I want to, not because I feel like I have to. So if I don't like it, I'm not going to put it out, and I'm going to experiment with stuff. Because it's just, it's a good time to experiment with this kind of stuff. So, that's me. Talk about yourself now.
Well, you're the only, like, I guess, you're the only content creator here. That side of, like, because I don't necessarily count when it comes to, you know, being the one who actually edits and posts the podcast. But if you do want to see more of me for whatever reason, you can go ahead and find me on Instagram and Twitter as Drinkaholic, where you can get like the art that I do, the sketches and drawings on Instagram, and then Twitter, where I put my nonsense, which I believe that's actually what my bio says specifically.
It's good nonsense too.
Yeah, traditional artists, yeah, blah blah blah. Here's where my nonsense goes. So if you do, so if you do want to see all the dumb shit and all the cool, occasionally cool shit that I like to post, then those where you go.
Grant, the Enigma, who does nothing on the internet.
Where do we find you?
I'm on Twitter, but don't follow me. I don't need your follow. If you follow me, go ahead and unfollow me. I don't need it.
Alright, I'm gonna unfollow you then.
Guess who's putting your fucking Twitter in description, dumbass?
Follow me, just don't follow me. I don't need you guys. I'm all right by myself.
Then I guess then, like, beyond us, there's also the channel you're watching this bunch of dumbs. We have a Discord server. We also have a Twitter. Description. Join the Discord, please. We're lonely.
Yeah. I need to do some rebranding as well.
It's a long time coming, because half of our art is still from the B team, and half of it's still from the boys. Yeah. So...
yeah, this rebranding has been a mess.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say it's been a mess because it hasn't started yet.
Like 2 months ago.
Well, the artist here just hasn't started.
In my defense, I have many projects, and this is the one that doesn't have a deadline.
I'm gonna start giving you deadlines if that'll make you do it.
Honestly, you might as well at this point.
I will do that then. Because we need to do it.
So a lot of projects are ending, and I will have a lot of free time, so this would be the perfect opportunity.
All my projects are done.
I don't have projects.
I've got one more due today, but that's set point. With that, I believe this is the podcast.
It's a long one. 2 hours and almost 40 minutes.
Yeah. But then again, there's a lot of cut content, but...
yeah.
We did go out of our way to add a third person, which does a lot with time.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk that having a person who has their own things to talk about would make things longer?
And adds more people to the conversation.
Yeah.
You know, I've thought about bringing Tyler on every now and then. I don't think we should.
I feel it would be like 4 hours.
Go to hell. I feel like the podcast would go to hell at that point.
Yeah.
Like, long podcasts are a thing, but it's more that I think with 4 people, things are just going to go into chaos.
Especially with Tyler. Like, oh my god.
The very definition of chaos.
But we love him for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a quote from our Discord server, which you should join, you should be more normal, but then I wouldn't be myself.
The man himself.
I think that is the truest statement that any of us have ever said.
Be a normal civilized person,
But then I wouldn't be Tyler. He has a point.
He does.
He does have a point. Alright, we're done, I guess.
Done.
Yeah.
You guys got any final words?
Same.
I prefer a hoya, but alright.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
All right.
My window's been open this entire time. It's hot. It's hot down here.
I just like imagining that someone says hoya back. Alright, well,
That'd be
anyways, thanks for listening.
We'll see you
until next time.
at some point.
We don't know when the next
I've
episode
said
will
it
be
better.
recorded.
We'll see you at some point next time. Goodbye.
We'll be right back.